Welcome to 5 Minute Music. I teach orchestra and guitar at a high school, so we're going to talk about some very common mistakes that I've seen in beginner guitarists. The first thing is just bad positioning in general. Most people are able to get the guitar so the neck is on the left side of their body. Most people are able to hold it somewhat normally. The biggest issue I see is tilting it inwards towards you so it almost flattens the guitar, or tilting it so the neck is down. Whenever the neck is down or it's tilted this way, that's going to force your left wrist to bend one way or another, and we want to, as much as possible, keep the line that goes from the elbow to the wrist very straight. Also ignore my shoelace here. We want to position the guitar in a way that the neck comes up just a little bit more, which we can do either through a footstool, a strap, crossing our legs and sitting with the guitar on top of them, whatever you need to with whatever resources you have available. The second issue that goes with positioning is just a weird left thumb. So having a thumb that comes like up and over, or having a thumb that is very disconnected from the rest of the family. The quickest way I can describe how your thumb should be positioned is put your hand into a C shape. And once you have your C shape, put that on the guitar. So the thumb doesn't come up and over, it doesn't come this way because then we don't have a C shape anymore. It's with the rest of the hand and it's relaxed. And then the first thing people do when they have decent positioning is they try to play their first chord and they get that sort of a sound. You have to press down fairly hard on the guitar strings to go from sounding like this to this. And one thing that's going to make that easier is keeping your finger closer to the fret bar. And you want to keep it closer to the fret bar that's to the right. So if I'm trying to play, say on the E string over here, I have to press down a lot to get a clear sound, and it's still not very good. If I bring it kind of towards the middle of the fret, it sounds better, but I'm still pressing down a lot and it kind of hurts. If I bring it almost up to the next fret, I get a very clear sound all of a sudden with less effort. Keep your fingers closer to the fret bar to the right. If I'm too far this way, I'm in the wrong part of the fret, I get that sound, versus if I'm just right up near the fret bars, but not on top of them, suddenly I sound a lot nicer. And then the next two things are related. The first is playing everything with a first finger. So a lot of guitarists will start learning their first melody and it'll sound so beautiful. Except it doesn't sound clear, it doesn't sound very melodic, because between each note you're having to move because you're not using your other fingers. There's definitely a specific system you can use for which finger goes with each fret, and you can learn that by learning scales and like the traditional fingerings that go along with scales. But the simplest rule for beginners is to just vary it and really minimize the amount of times that you're using the same finger for consecutive notes. That already is going to sound a lot smoother, even though that's not like the greatest way that I could play that. I'm just using different fingers. And the last thing that I see beginners do is just not use their pinky finger on their left hand. Granted, there are professional guitarists that don't, or they use it very sparingly because it is your shortest finger, it's one of your weakest, but especially in the beginning stages, find ways to incorporate it, to get used to using it, so that way it's an option for you later on. So for example, if I'm playing something like just very simple like that, going on frets 1, 2, 3, 4. If I'm not used to using my pinky finger, I can still play the notes, but it certainly is a lot easier if you have another option available for you, so don't rule it out completely. Also, you'll notice that none of these talked about the right hand. I can get any beginner in the world to get a decent sound strumming. The right hand is not an issue until we start getting into more complex things like fingerstyle guitar. The beginning stages are almost all about the left hand and what is happening here. Hopefully something from this was helpful, and thank you for watching.